Hey guys, welcome to MyPOVGuitar. My name is Brandon. We're going to do a short little lesson. I'm just going to kind of go over some octaves and what they mean, what they are with your open chords. We've talked about triads a little bit and how like your root note will duplicate. It'll be at higher octaves. You'll have 2 to 3 in a major chord from time to time. I'm going to just kind of show you where these are on the neck and how you can eventually translate that up the neck, and what that'll do once you know the names of some of these in the open chords and go, oh, well, that's an E. Well, then I know that's an E. You can kind of know how they build on each other, and it'll help you to start to be more familiar with the neck. Okay, so this is just going to be a quick little lesson about octaves and how they work and how you can look for them and test it out. And guys, as always, we're going to show you from your point of view. Okay, guys, this is just going to be a quick little lesson. I just kind of want you to get, we've talked about chord shapes and how important it is to learn those shapes because they will repeat up the neck once you learn them. It's also important to kind of know the octaves in a chord. Okay, so in a major chord, we've talked about triads. It's your 1, 3, and 5 notes. Okay, your 1 is your root, so that's the name of the chord. So E for E major is your 1, okay? Well, you'll have 3 notes in a major chord, but some of them will be duplicated at higher octaves, okay? Namely, the name of the chord, the root. So an E, like on an E major, you have 3 E notes, your top, okay? The 6th string, the 1st string, because they're tuned, they're both tuned to E, right? So those open, there's your 2 E notes. That's an E note as well. Those are all octaves. Low, middle, high, okay? If you G major, that's a G, okay? Your 3rd string open is a G, that's why you strum that in that chord. And then, of course, your 1st string is tuned the same as your 6th string. There's a G. So in that G, you have it 3 times. G there, G there, G there. And the thing about this is, say like on the fretted ones, or open, E, G, that's the same up the neck everywhere you go. That's an F. Okay? So anytime you see that, those are octaves. That will work no matter where it's done on the neck, right? Let's take a C major. Okay? Your 5th string, there's your C. That's a C because that's a 2nd string, that's a B. The next note would be a C. So those 2. So on your 5th string and your 2nd string, and you've got a fret in between, that shape right there, that's an octave no matter where it's done. That makes D, that makes E. So you could even hit that top string with that octave there and you'd have another E. Okay, that's why with, if you're familiar with Cherub Rock by the Smashing Pumpkins, he hits that open string. That's just octaves he's doing there, okay? So for your C, you have that shape. Those 2 are going to be the same. Drop it down, F, and it'll do the same thing. F, G, and you know that's a G because it's the same note you're doing with that G. Now you're starting to see, once you start learning this, you'll see how, okay, well, if those are octaves and I can move up, once you start making like an F shape there, that's a G. Once you start to learn where your octaves are, you know, well, if I'm fretting there, that means I can do an F shape. So the main thing, guys, is just kind of get used to where your octaves are in a chord shape. Once you start getting into bar chords and you learn your E-shaped bar chords, you're just changing your fingerings, but it still works the same. So if you slid that up to where that is the first one, that's going to be a G. It's an E shape, but it's on the G. Well, it's the same thing as your E here. The 6th string, the 4th string, and the 1st string are all going to be octaves. So this would all be a G. Don't want to overwhelm you guys, but I just want you to start paying attention to your octaves and chords. Because once you start getting familiar with that, you'll know as you're learning your shapes how you can move up the neck. Once you start learning bar chords, you know that a C right here, because that's your root. Well, you could also start here and make a C bar chord. And that's how it keeps just moving up the neck. Then you'll learn that, okay, if that right there, that would be the same if that was open. That means you could play a G-shaped chord. It's hard. That's another C. So now you're starting to see how these chords, they just repeat up the neck, the way it's tuned, the standard tuning, it just all does it. It starts with learning your shapes and then your octaves. Guys, if you need my help, if you want to learn guitar faster with farm logic, check out MyPOVGuitar.com. There's a link in the description, the beginner course. It'll help you leapfrog years, and there's great lessons like this in that. But until then, we'll see you in the next lesson.